Hello, welcome to our assembly for today. I hope everybody's okay. I hope you've had a really, really lovely weekend and enjoyed some lovely weather and been out and had a nice play in the outdoors and got some exercise and fresh air, because all those things are really, really important for our mental health and our physical well-being. So I hope you've had lots of exercise, because that's a really, really cool thing to do. And it's starting to get a little bit colder because we're heading into autumn. And if you look closely, I want you to have a really close look as you go around Wincham, as you go around Northwich, and see if you can spot any leaves on trees that are starting to change colour. Okay, see if you can spot those things for me. I can hear Mrs. Miller's class in the background as I'm recording this. I think they might actually be invading things as invading the place as Romans. Can you hear that noise? Right. So today's assembly is all about lots of noise. Today's assembly is all about new beginnings, like our assembly was last week. And the theme of this time, making new friends, because you are in new classes and you might be making friends with new people. You might be sitting next to somebody different. You might have somebody new who's joined your class and you're thinking, oh, I wonder what this person's like. So we can have a little bit of a think about why making new friends is important and how it is making a new start with something. Okay, so I'm going to share an idea with you, and we're going to have a look at a bit of a poem, and then we're going to have a look at a bit of a story. So here we go. We've got a group of people, and what have they all got in common? Have a think. Tell the person sitting next to you what's the same about them all. Now, I think the thing that's the same about them all is they are all really happy. They've all got big beaming smiles on their faces because they're friends. So if we think about our global goals, which of the global goals do you think are important if we're talking about friendship? Okay, have a think and tell your teacher, which of the global goals do you think are important if we're talking about friendship? Okay. So I wonder if anybody said these three: good health and well-being, reduced inequalities, and peace, justice, and strong institutions. So why are these things really, really important to us? Okay. How do any of those link to the idea of being friends? Okay, have a think and then see if you can have a talk as a class. See if you can come up with some ideas why these things are really important if we're going to be friends. Okay, and then tell your teacher what your ideas are. Right. I wonder if people have said about the mental health benefits of being friends, because you talk to your mates, you have a good time by sharing things, by having a laugh together, and it makes you feel good to be with other people. That's one of them. Reduced inequalities. That means that we treat everybody the same. So we can be friends with absolutely everybody. It doesn't matter whether that person has a different color skin, whether that person is differently abled, or whether they believe in a different religion. We can be friends with absolutely everybody. So reduced inequalities is really, really important. And finally, peace, justice, and strong institutions. If we get all of that, if we are friends, we will be in a peaceful place. We will be in a peaceful world. Okay? So that's why those global goals are really important to us for talking about friendship. So my poem, F is for faithful. They're loyal to the end. R is for reliable. They're true and don't pretend. I is for the interest in sharing thoughts with you. E is for enjoyment, whatever you might do. N is for neighbourly. They're kind in every way. D is for dependable on every single day. S is for that special friend you know is always there, the one who makes you happy and you know will always care. There we go. We've got some interesting words there that spell out friends. So faithful, reliable, interest, enjoyment, neighbourly, dependable. So are there any of those that you've heard before? Any of those words that you know? Or something that you don't know, you're not sure about? Put your hand up if you've got one of those words that you don't know that you need explaining. And we can talk about this in class. You can talk about it with your teacher. So faithful is one that we don't use very much, but loyal. It means that somebody will stick with you. They will be faithful and they will stay with you no matter what. They will be friends when everything's really happy and really good, but they'll be friends if things are a bit sad, things are a bit rubbish, or they'll look after you if you're not so happy, and not just leave you and go off and do something else. Okay, so there's loads of lovely ideas. So well done for sharing your thoughts. Now, this made me think about a story from the Bible, okay, Christian holy book. And there were 4 men who regularly helped and took care of a friend because that friend had been paralyzed. He was unable to move. He'd been unable to walk for many, many years. And all he could do was lie down. And his friends helped him. They took care of him and looked after him because they were all good mates. Now, they'd heard about this man, and this man was called Jesus. And he was able to do incredible things, perform miracles. He was able to make blind people see. He was able to make deaf people hear. He was able to cure diseases and even bring people back from the dead. Now, these men loved their friend and they felt convinced that he could be cured as well. So when they heard that Jesus was teaching nearby, they were determined to find him. And they carried their paralyzed friend on a mat, and they each held a corner of the mat and carried him through, and they tied him with ropes so that he didn't fall out, okay, to a house in Capernaum where Jesus was teaching people about God. And there was a huge crowd crammed into the building, listening, hoping to witness some of the miracles for which he was becoming famous. Now, the 4 friends couldn't get anywhere near. They were very disappointed, but determined to reach Jesus, and one of them had a really, really daring idea. Okay, in those days, most houses had a flat roof that was reached by an outside staircase. You went up the stairs outside, and then you could stand on the roof. Okay, not like we do now. And the roof was covered with a thick coating of mud on a layer of reeds, and that was how they kept their roof tight, waterproof and sealed, so that those reeds were stuck together with the mud, which dried out in the sun. Now, once they were up on the roof, they scraped back some of the mud and made a big hole, big enough to lower down their paralyzed friend in front of Jesus' feet. So they lowered him down on that blanket, held on by these ropes. And Jesus was really, really touched by the trouble the 4 men had taken. They knew they got complete faith in his ability to heal their friend. Okay, and it was really important. That bit was really important because Jesus knew that they trusted him to look after their friend. So he said, "My friend, your sins are forgiven. Pick up your bed and walk." And the crowd watched in amazement. Some of them had known how poorly the man had been. They watched as the feeling came back into the man's once useless feet and legs, and he slowly began to get up. He stood up straight. He picked up his mat and walked away, thanking Jesus and praising God. Now, some of Jesus' enemies who saw what had happened were angry. Jesus knew this, but he wanted to demonstrate that his power to heal was a visible sign that he was the Son of God. And it was the loyalty of the friends and the faith they had in him that encouraged Jesus to perform this miracle. So if that man hadn't had his good friends, he never would have got that help. And his friends stuck with him through all the bad times. And they could, I bet, when they were looking after him over the years, they would sit around and eat a meal together and talk and gossip and have a lovely time. But they couldn't go out for a walk. They couldn't go out and run around or do any of the other things. But they still stuck with him. So that's when we talked about being faithful. So you can be a friend during the good times, but also during the difficult times as well. So have a think about the story. We know there were good friends in it. Now think about your friends. Think about who you know. And you might think, I'm in a new class. I don't know people very well yet. And I want you to have a think about somebody that you played with at some point last week. You might not think, well, that person is my really, really, really good friend, but they were good friends. And if I come back to you at Christmas or at Easter or even in the summer term and say, who are your friends? Your list might change because of the people you're with now. So you've got people in your class sitting around you who are good friends because they wanted to play with you. They wanted to talk to you. They were interested in you. So now let's have another thing. What makes you, each one individually of you, what makes you a good friend? Okay, see if you can pause the video and come up with a list of things on the whiteboard that makes you a good friend. Go. So hopefully we've now got that list of things on the whiteboard that makes you a good friend. I'm sure there's lots and lots of great ideas. So now I want you to close your eyes, have a bit of a think for me. And I want you to think about your friends and feel that sense of gratitude, that being grateful for your friends. You might want to say thank you to God or somebody else, whoever you believe in. Or you might just think, do you know what? I'm really glad I've got my friends. And be grateful for the happy times we share with them. I want you to think about what you're going to do today to be a good friend. How you're going to play fairly and share. How you're going to recognize if somebody else needs a friend and what you can do to help them. Okay. Open your eyes. Look around you at all of your friends. Smile at them, because a smile always makes other people feel better. Have a lovely, lovely rest of the day, guys. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.